There's a lot, I think, that's not working in families. Primarily, I think the thing that's most responsible for families not working is the lack of leadership from the men, from the father and the husband of the home. In the sense that the man and the husband of the home doesn't offer direction, doesn't offer leadership, doesn't offer wisdom to his family, then you find that the family tends to feel lost and not have a sense of where they're going.
What's not working in families, I think, is a lot of separation of family. I see a lot of people I know who got married 5 years ago, 10 years ago. They're not living together anymore. They're separated or they're divorced, and of course that has an impact on the children, on that nuclear family. And perhaps that's why we see a lot of rebellion from teenagers especially, and just a generation of youth who seem to be lacking direction, but all they're searching for is validation and love. And that comes from the nuclear family. Spending time with them, talking with them, laughing with them, reading books to a 6-year-old, you know, simple things.
What is not working is families, the family members. I would say the father and the mother. Probably I would say identity. They don't know probably the position they are at, or they are not able to commit or to take the mantle at their hands and fend for their family.
I think it boils down to communication as well, because you find that, let's say, a son does not trust the father to communicate with the father. You find it's the way the father was brought up. It might have something to do with the way the father was brought up. So you find if the father had a drunkard for a father, even though he may not be a drunkard, he may not know how to really communicate, how to talk to the son. You may find the same father who is having an issue talking to the son, or the son relating with the father is relating well to the daughter because the person had a mother or something, or a sister. But then again, you find since there was no that father-son bonding with his father, it boils down to, again, that. And then you may find some families, they are disconnect. You find the father is an alcoholic or does drugs, or the father is a deadbeat, so there is an absence. So in such a situation, the problem is passed forward. So the guy will want to be the best father they can be, but he may not know how well to raise, what are the boundaries, what are the do's and don'ts, because there was no father before. Yeah.
What is not working in families is mistrust, I think. Within family units, sometimes you find people don't trust each other, and this can stem from maybe a husband and a wife. If they don't trust each other, there's a ripple effect with including the extended family and just the people who surround that particular family. And I find that doesn't work, and that a lot of times creates disunity, and when that happens, it also ripple affects the society, because if you're not happy in your family, you're going to take it to work, and when you take it to work, then we have a dysfunctional society.
I think nowadays people are very busy, so there's no time for family. You'll find kids grow up, they go to boarding school, and so they don't really spend enough time with their parents or their siblings. Then immediately after school, guys go into careers or higher education, and then at the end of it all, with technology, even when they're together, they're not together. So there's little time within families for people to understand each other and gel and actually influence each other.
The current space we are in, you have to balance between family and work and other obligations. And I think that balance is what has not been found. There's no prescription, there's no magic book somewhere that has written, this is what you need to do to balance between family and work. And you find that most times work interferes with family. And when somebody concentrates on family, they don't necessarily do well in work and business. So I think that's the thing that is causing rifts in families, because now you can't have both. It's widely accepted that you can't have both. You have to focus on one and not the other.
They do not know how to communicate with each other. Fathers, for example, are not present, for example. So when the father is not present, he's not there to set up the proper foundation for the kids and stuff. So it becomes an issue. They do not know what to communicate, how to communicate, what to do, what not to do. So I guess for me, that becomes easy territory for a problem to appear.
What is not working in families, I can also say, I talked about the hustle and bustle of life. So people nowadays, our yearning and our desires are more financial. So in the chase for finances, in the chase of having the life, people have neglected the time to spend with one another. Secondly, technology. The fact that there's technology nowadays, there's no need of seeing my sister, or there is no need of seeing my brother, since we can WhatsApp, we can talk via phone. Just that touch with one another.
Many couples don't go through a proper preparation before they get married. So many couples don't go through, even in churches, proper counselling and preparation as a premarital requirement before going through that legal ceremony. And so they get married and they don't know what each other's expectations are of the marriage and of life in particular. And they then find out that they've got very conflicting dreams, goals, aspirations. And then that causes conflict and requires compromise, which may or may not come about. And so if you don't know what each other's dreams are before you get married, you don't know whether you're going to be compatible with your life.